There we go. So here we are. Another social media marketing coaching call here with myself, Shane Hillier. If this is your first time to this Thursday call, let us know in the comments. We always like to know who is new here. I see some familiar faces, but this is our social media marketing call with myself and also Kara McMaster from McMaster Digital, who is helping us out here. And this call is part of our Double Your Income coaching program. And we do these every Thursday at 1 p.m. And typically we are here to talk about social media and help real estate agents scale and grow their businesses through social media. Kara, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to I wanted to spend some time doing some foundational type of work with the various platforms over the last few weeks. Well, first, let's start off because I see we have some newer faces, newer names, some regulars, and to the regulars who keep showing up every week. Kudos to you. Appreciate your time. For those who don't know me, my name is Kara McMaster. I have been in the realtor space and helping my clients crush it online with social media strategies since 2017. I'd say by this point, I've probably racked up millions in commissions for my clients by now. So what I come in here and I teach you is how to use social media to generate leads, because that's what we're here to do at the end of the day. So the last few weeks, we have talked all different kinds of things about TikTok, Instagram. What the heck should you be making for content? How do we optimize our profiles? And then last week, we went over a foundational for Instagram. So today, we have a foundational for LinkedIn. I'm going to share with you why you need to put it on your radar if you have yet to do that. And yes, I'm giving you more homework today. But we're going to talk about what makes it such a powerful platform, how to optimize that profile, talk a little bit about some of what you should be posting. But as always, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. If you want to take yourself off of mute, please feel free to do. I'm always open and available for questions. So let's get going.
Let us know in the comments who's new. So it's always nice to know who the new people are here so that we can say hello and welcome here.
Let's see. Anybody? I do see some new names. Don't be afraid. Drop a one in the comment.
Everybody's shy. It's one of it's either you're really shy or you're driving and listening. So.
Yeah. Don't be dropping a one if you're driving.
That's right.
We don't want to cause any accidents. Well, some of you have done quite a bit of coaching with me by now. And you'll hear me repeat the same things kind of over and over again when it comes to execution. But I think execution is one of the most important things that we have in life, that when we take things and we learn from them, if you don't apply it and you don't do something with it, you're doing yourself dirty. You're doing me dirty because I come here every week just to help you guys out for free. But more importantly, you're doing yourself dirty. So I just wanted to give a massive, huge shout out. If y'all can throw a one in the chat, throw an emoji in the chat, take yourself off of mute, give her a clap. Miss Beverly Sinclair, kudos to you. She took action. So a few weeks ago, I had you guys come on and I said, let's make one TikTok. Let's get one done. And she did that. And then she freaking ran with it. I've been seeing this woman continue to post. She's getting consistency done. She's getting it done. And I can guarantee you, Beverly, if you keep this up, I guarantee you will see this channel start to producing leads. So go into the real estate marketing Facebook group, go check out her posts. She's mentioning that she's been continually putting out, and now her sphere of influence is starting to take notice. This is really, really, really important. You may have heard me quote this before. The National Real Estate Association of Realtors has said that over 90% of people that they surveyed really enjoyed the experience that they had with their realtor. And in fact, they would use them again. But only 12% actually do. And this is where we have an opportunity to stay out in front of our SOI, get out in front of them all the time without having to always call them, without always having to send the newsletter. This is just another little way to constantly stay out and remind them who you existed. So just another way to kind of show up what it is that we're doing here. So Beverly, way to rock it, way to kill it. And I really appreciate you also taking the time to thank us in the group, because I think it's really important that more people see what we do here on these Thursday calls and what you can do when you put things into action. So kudos to you, girl. Kudos. Cool. So wasn't last week, it was the week before, as we mentioned last week, we had our own little things popping up. But last week when we did this class, We give you guys a foundations on Instagram. We talked about how do you show up as your true self? How do you showcase your personality? How do you optimize that Instagram? We talked a little bit about the different placements, the reels, the stories, the posting, and where Instagram is going. And still, for a quick short cap, it's short form video, guys. Short form video is where it's at. It's why I harp so hard on it. But what I did want to talk today about was LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn is a really cool platform. It's made my clients a ton of money over the years. Still going to make money over the years. And we're going to talk about why. But before we do, because I'm a shameless marketer, I want you guys to go to that link and I want you to add me as a connection. You're going to want to do this because I think I have something stupid like 8,000 realtors on LinkedIn who are my friends. And you guys all know how important it is to be connected to other realtors so that you can receive referrals from each other. So that's a little reason why you're going to want to stay connected. But I pull some cool stuff lately. We've been posting a lot of our podcast content that I do. Funny enough, actually, right after this call, I have a hard stop at 2:00 because the famous Christian Mortuzo is going to be at my podcast today. So make sure that you go there, head to that link right now, please. Add me as a connection. Let's stay connected so I can fill you in on all what's good. Cool. Let's get into it. So why should you care about LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is nothing new. We know, it's been around for a really long time now. It is the professional social media platform. Its algorithm is a little bit different than the rest of them. It is a lot easier to show up in other people's feeds if you're not always connected. But what makes it so crazy powerful is this little tool called Sales Navigator. Some of you might know this and some of you might not know this. Now, as a preface, Sales Navigator is an outside app. It's like linkedin.com/sales navigator. You do have to pay for it. It is not free. You can get a free trial. I think it's either a 7-day free trial or a 30-day free trial. Either way, get the free trial and just play around with it because this is why. And I have made people a lot of money. In fact, I once blew up. She's still a client of mine. She's been with me since 2017. Miss Giordano Law, this real estate lawyer. And I think maybe you guys have heard me tell this story before, but I'll tell the story just so that you can have an idea of like where this kind of leads down and what path it goes down. I had this real estate lawyer come to me and she said, "Hey, I heard you're really good at running lead gen for realtors. Can you help me?" And I was like, "I could absolutely help you, but I refuse to run."
Kara, I think you're locking up.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think that's the second time now that's happened.
Okay, I'm going to
so
do my best.
Just start at like 30 seconds. Go back 30 seconds.
So this all goes back to a client of mine, Miss Giordino, who is a real estate lawyer. And when she came to me, she said, "I would like you to run lead generation strategies for me." To which I said, "Unfortunately, this is not a good strategy for you because when somebody wants to purchase a house, they don't think of you. They're not excited about the fact of having to hire a lawyer." I said, "You need to be connecting with other real estate agents in your area and letting them know all about it." So what we did was we used a tool like Sales Navigator to do a lot of online connecting, a lot of online networking to get her connected with a whole bunch of realtors in the Calgary area. And it absolutely blew up her business. Ridiculously so. So much so that at one point she was like, "I don't even know if I need you anymore, Kara, because I don't know if I can handle any more business." To which the salesperson and me, and of course it's good for her, we wouldn't let her off the hook because, if you take it away, you turn off your engine, it's not a good look. But either way, let's go over why this is so powerful. The screenshot of what you can see here is the inside tool of Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator allows you to place different demographics, interests, things about their company, different things about your avatar of whom you want to specifically connect with. Okay. So you can come up with the different, perhaps brokerages that you want to connect with other agents. Perhaps one of your niches is you want to work with other lawyers or professionals. Perhaps you are in the relocation niche. Perhaps you want to basically take a profile of somebody and we come in here and we can enter it in based on time spent in that role, size of the companies, what industries they're in. And same way that we do some interest-based targeting when we do lead generation is what you have available to you here in this Sales Navigator. So what we're doing here is we're creating lists of various types of people, and then we're just reaching out. We're just sending messages like, hey, let's connect. Hey, let's go for coffee. Hey, here's what makes me so special. It's a series of messages that we send, but this is what makes LinkedIn, and this is, I think, oftentimes what's really not talked about as to why LinkedIn is such a powerful tool, is this one tool here. So for the Canadians in the group, it's not that cheap. Okay, it's like 120 Canadian dollars. If you put that into American, I think it's like 89 American dollars. Good old exchange rate for us. But it's definitely worth the effort here. The one down point. So I kind of started off saying like I've got like over 8,000 realtors that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. At one time, you could send out 100 connection requests per day. So that's how this platform works, is you send a request just the same way that you would send a request to be friends with somebody on Facebook. You can send a connection request. Because of marketers like me, they took that away. So now it's limited to 100 per week. But again, that is why the Sales Navigator tool is so crazy important, because you can get really, really granular on who it is that you want to connect with. So if, let's say, you're a realtor in Toronto and you want to work with like the big highfalutin finance guys, right? That is something that you can target on Sales Nav. If you're in New York City and you want to connect with all of the real estate lawyers, right? That's another targeting ability that you have. So again, this is why I go to you guys and say, who do you want to work with? What do you know about them? What are the attributes that we can then plug in? So definitely get a free trial just to try it out, play around with the different filters that you see here on the left-hand side to see all the different ways in which you can create a various list. Okay. And then that's the list of people that you want to reach out to. The next little ninja hack that I have for you when it comes to Sales Navigator is the networking capabilities that we have on LinkedIn. Once you create a list inside of Sales Navigator, it will give you a dedicated news feed. So when we go on to our regular LinkedIn, we have you want to get the attention of some really, really big wigs. Let's say you want to do this for agent attraction. Let's say you are an EXP person and you want to attract people over from Remax or people over from Century 21 or whatever that is. You can apply that here. You create a dedicated newsfeed of people who are on that list. And every day we're coming in, we're liking their posts, we're commenting on those posts, and we're constantly raising our hand and going, hi, I'm here, without being spammy. Okay. We don't want to do what marketers used to do on this platform, which was spray and pray 1,000 people a day. I'm sure for the realtors on here, you probably have your inbox is probably full with marketers trying to get your business, promising that the world to you, saying that they'll get you, 500 closings a month when you work with me, kind of thing, right? That's not what we want to do. But what you do want to do is use the dedicated news feed so that you can constantly be raising your hand and saying that I'm here. So that's really why I love the LinkedIn platform, is that that Sales Navigator tool is really, really powerful. So think about who do you want to reach and who do you want to connect with. The other cool thing about LinkedIn is that people are here to do business. They're here to raise their career profile. So having more sales focused conversations is completely natural. It's a whole heck of a lot more natural than when we're on places like Facebook and Instagram, because we typically go to those places for a little bit of brain relief. So it comes off totally more acceptable when we're there to talk a little bit more about our listings or about what the market is doing. Tara says it's Tara, it's $90 a month. It's a month. So that's why if you're going to go down this road, be dedicated to it for a good solid month. If you're going to pay that $90, you're going to come in every single day and you're going to be creating the lists. Yeah, Beverly, I'll get to the slides. You're going to be creating those lists. You're going to be interacting with those lists. You're going to be messaging those lists. So you want to be quite on top of it, and you don't necessarily need to use it for the entire year. I think if you pay upfront for the year, you will get a nice sizable discount, but at least start off with the free version and check it out. And there's a lot of high net worth individuals on this platform. You want to reach, like I said, those professionals. They're here. They're probably not hanging out as much on platforms like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. So if you've decided that the niche that you're going after is that you found a way to really service the finance bro on, on Wall Street, this is where you're going to find them. And again, it's a little bit of an easier opening for a conversation than it would be to, when you get that DM in your Facebook, and you're like, why are you messaging me about something that you're selling? It's a little bit more palatable on LinkedIn. Then another thing here is the LinkedIn often comes up when people search your name. Okay, this one is really, really, really huge. Who here, and I want to know, when's the last time you guys searched your name plus the word realtor into Google? When was the last time that you searched your name with realtor inside of Google? Who here has done that recently? While you're thinking of that one, I'm going to grab you guys the slides.
I do it once a week to make sure nobody's
Once
saying
a
anything
week.
bad. Once a week, I want to make sure nobody's saying anything bad about me.
Too funny. Too funny. So if you're 2 weeks ago, nice. If you're not all up in the SEO game and you haven't properly optimized things like your website, or perhaps if you're in the States, your Zillow profiles, or whichever, oftentimes LinkedIn is going to rank right up at the top. Okay. So this is why it's really, really important that your LinkedIn profile is perfect, especially if you are trying to deal and do business with professionals who do use this as a platform. If you have a dead LinkedIn profile, they too will think your business is dead. So even after today, you go, Kara, I don't want to do more work. It's okay. I got you. I want you to at least take what I'm going to show you today on how to at the very, very least, how to optimize that profile so that when somebody comes over to your profile, you are creating, as I call, a frictionless opportunity to take in a lead. So take this platform seriously. Take what I show you today. It's going to literally take you under an hour to make sure that when somebody comes over to your LinkedIn profile, that you are showing your best foot forward. All right. Beverly says she doesn't do LinkedIn yet, but I know Beverly's a mover and a shaker, so she's going to get it done. All right. Let's talk about optimization. So first things first is that you want to have a cover image just like this. Okay. This is the same cover image I tell you guys to upload to your Facebook profile, your Facebook pages, your YouTube page. We haven't gone over YouTube, so people are like, I don't know about that. Don't worry, got you. That's coming up. But either way, I like to have it uniform across the board. I like it to look the same everywhere we go, but it should be short and concise. It should be professional. It should show off some of your brand colors, and it should showcase something about what it is that you do. So especially if you have identified a niche that you for you today, so you can.
Sorry, we just lost you again.
Unfortunately today, guys, I think we're going to have a little bit of internet instability. So if I cut out for anything, the recording should pick up everything. So I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. So the cover banner, I'm going to give you guys a copy to a LinkedIn banner on Canva for you today, so that you can create your banner. But it's the same photo. You want to use the same photo that you've used on Facebook, that you've used on Instagram, everywhere. It should all be the same because you want it nice and uniform and you want it really recognizable. So this is the most ideal setup for what you have on your profile. You want to make sure that your contact information is as up to date as possible. So you want to include a phone number where people can reach you. You want to include an email where people can reach you. And of course, wherever your website is, if you have one, make sure that it's all up to date. The next thing here is that you want to have a headline. So your headline is what shows off who you serve and and how you serve those people. So some examples here for you is, first-time home buyer specialist, the Toronto condo expert. I do want you to check with your brokerage, because your brokerages, your province or your state may have things of what you can and cannot say, i.e. realtor. Some places, some people really don't like it when you use realtor within your own marketing. It's crazy. But check to see what you're allowed to use and not use. But again, I have here who you serve and how you serve them. So you can see here, my headline is helping realtors capture and close since 2017. Okay. So pretty basic stuff. Make sure that your contact information is up to date. I'll teach you a little ninja hack so that you can starve away the marketers. Not me though, of course, because you're going to add me on LinkedIn. Some people will include a little emoji in their name, like a goat or a happy face right in their name. So what will happen is when you get a message and somebody's used the emoji, it means that they're using an automation tool. So when you receive those messages, it's really, really easy to ignore those people because they've done the pray and spray method. So I do like including up-to-date information here. It's up to you whether you want to include an email that's professionally used by you, or you want to include another one, so that if you are getting reached out by marketers, because it is a thing, it's just part of the job. I'll leave that up to you, but I like to have all of my information up to date because I want you getting business from this platform. The next thing here is we want to have a summary of everything that's amazing about you to do with real estate. That's it. That's the only thing that you should be focusing on this summary. Nobody wants to know about your long walks on the beach or your love of Game of Thrones. You have to include all of the reasons why somebody would want to work with you. You also want to write it in a narrative format. This is highly debated in the marketer community. Should I write it about, as if I'm speaking in the third person, or should I write it as if it was in the first person? So narrative method is what you want to use. You want to have a clear mission statement. Okay. Are you on a quest to help 1,000 first-time home buyers acquire their first house? Include that in there. Are you on a quest to change the game when it comes to real estate because you really believe in NFTs and selling a condo through an NFT? This is where you want to include that, because again, we're trying to separate ourselves from the rest of the world and show somebody that we are it. Because again, as you've heard me say in previous classes, when we optimize our profiles, we have to put our best foot forward, because the most highest net worth individuals, all of the people who have been watching your posts, clicking on your ads, going over to your website, they're going to stalk you. They're going to come and check out your profiles. So this is why it's really important to really identify who you serve and how you serve them. If you've won any awards, this is a great place to include that as well. And then I like to inject a little bit of personality in there, but I also want to optimize it for search engine optimization. So real estate, realtor, your city, those kind of things belong in the summary of your profile. The next is you want to end with a clear call to action. Okay. So calls to actions are, if you would like an evaluation on your home, if you would like a list of properties that have a pool under a $600,000 price point, if you have your Airbnb guide to purchasing your first investment property in Canmore, Alberta, this is where we include a call to action. Some other calls to action is if you just want to book a listing presentation, or if you want to book a priors presentation, or perhaps you want to book a coffee date with me, you can use things like a Calendly, so they can book directly online with you. And of course, include a phone number. Now, if you want to get real fancy, you can have what's called if you use a program like Go High Level, it allows you to create a pool, and you can have a dedicated phone number just for LinkedIn. And it'll start to give you some ideas as to where your leads are coming from. And again, that's me, the marketer, who likes to track everything. I love to have attribution for all of my clients, so that when we receive a lead, we know where that lead came from, so that we can really double down on the platforms that are working best for us. But basically, you want to have a clear call to action and a way that people can easily get in contact with you. So yes, we did include it up here, but you also want to have it here, because remember what I said, we want to create frictionless opportunities to take in these leads. The next thing here is you can add in photos of some of the best listings. If you're a luxury realtor, or if you specialize in selling houses with suites on them, or you specialize in multifamily dwellings. You want to include that here in your summary, and it helps you stand out a little bit from everybody else. The next thing here is your current past experience, your education, any licenses, any courses that you've taken. We want to completely fill it out as much as possible. The work experience, though, that you include, make sure it's relevant. Okay. If we worked at Denny's when we were 13, it's not something that belongs. Okay. But maybe if you worked in a data analysis position, and that helped you understand how to prepare better CMAs, then it's a great place to have that in there. So include any relevant work experience. The next piece here is you want to include education is really, really important. Okay. And the reason for that is that the colleges, universities, and other accredited programs that you've taken will allow you to easily connect with other people. So let's say, like, I went to Centennial College for International Business. Let's say there was a realtor that I really wanted to work with. If he or she, if they also went to school at Centennial College, it's like the best way to open it up. And in fact, when they go to receive the connection request, they'll see that we have that in common. So I'll be like, hey, Mr. Amazing Realtor, I went to Centennial College in 2006. I see you went in 2012. Like, what did you study? Instead of like, hey, my name is Kara and I want to do business with you, let's go grab lunch. You can see where that human to human connection becomes an important part. So that's why you want to go back through and include any relevant education. Licenses, certificates. I know some of us have some special certificates in licensing when it comes to the types of real estate that we offer, right? Like this, you're in the commercial space. Somebody who's, trying to move commercial properties, they're already going to understand that as a relevant piece of information and will in fact be looking at that. So you want to include that as part of your profile. The next place here is your skills, endorsements, and recommendations. So let's actually bring up my LinkedIn profile so I can actually show you this. So this is just another way that we show off to LinkedIn that we're real human people, that we really like to, I'm in my business partner's office today on his computer. So just bear with me for a second so I can show you. But basically the skills and endorsements of what we put on here is just another way to show the platform that we're utilizing the platform properly. And again, will increase the connection rate when you go to reach out to people if you share some of those things, as well as have the ability to get somebody excited to want to work with you. Just bear with me here, guys. All right. Good old two-factor authentication. Okay. So these are the skills here. So the skills, you can come in here and you can create your own, you can add in here like what you've done, but you want to get endorsements from the rest of your community to say that you have that skill. And the easiest way to get endorsements is to give endorsements. So think of all the different vendors that you work with. This is where I like to start. So the real estate lawyers that you work with, the mortgage brokers that you work with, go and start giving them endorsements, and it's a lot easier to get them back. The next piece here is the recommendations. Okay, recommendations are like your reviews. So it's another way to really showcase what you've done with past clients. And again, the best way to get recommendations is to give them. I won't recommend we're going to cover that one day because it's definitely a part of social media. But the best way to do that is to give them first. Don't go asking people for them because it's a bad look. All right, so I wanted to give you guys a way to easily come up with your banner template. So go to this link, the template, and it's very similar. You'll recognize that it's if you've ever grabbed my Facebook or YouTube banners, it's the same thing, but this as a special size that is perfectly optimized for LinkedIn, because you'll notice here that your profile image will show up here. And then here, I like to show off whatever guide that I'm giving out. This is the best way to have this. So let me throw this in the chat here for you. Okay, so that's yours. You want to just go over to Canva and you want to update it with your brand colors. And if you have a guide, that's where we're going to put it in there. Ken says he just Googled it. My Facebook business page comes up first. So that's cool. That's good to hear, Ken. So keep an eye on, I love to hear that we've had a couple of people recently Google themselves. It's a practice that you should be regularly doing because you don't want misinformation. God forbid you share a name with somebody who is just like convicted of a heinous crime. That has happened too. So you want to keep an eye on like what's happening when you Google yourself. But yes, oftentimes LinkedIn does do well with search engine optimization for bringing those pieces up. Good questions here so far, guys. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about like what to post, what you're going to see on LinkedIn. I like to refer to LinkedIn as a little bit more vanilla. Okay. And what I mean by vanilla is we play it a little bit more safe. So if you're the type of realtor who really likes to showcase their personality, maybe you like to get a little bit political. Perhaps you use profanity once in a while. Perhaps you share lots of things about your personal life. This is not the platform to do that. Okay. I tell you guys on places like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok that you should really be showcasing your personality. But I want you to take the types of content that you're putting out there and I want you to make it vanilla. Because remember how I opened up this call with, this is a place where the professionals come to hang out. This is a place where people come to do business. So keep it business oriented. This is not the place where we want to showcase our personality traits. The next thing is that it's one of the few platforms that still works for sharing other content. Okay, so relevant news within the real estate industry, relevant news to do with your market updates. That kind of content used to also work on other platforms. It does not, but it still does do quite well on LinkedIn. The other things here that you can really allow you to stand out, see how a lot of these posts are still like image. Video still does very, very well on LinkedIn. You can go live on LinkedIn. You can do similar to Instagram stories. You just don't see it here because we're not on the mobile version. We're on the desktop version right now. But you can do stories on here as well. And then LinkedIn articles are still king when it comes to content. So if you're writing blogs or if you have let's say you just did a long form YouTube content video, doing a summarization of, a 300-word article that you only post on LinkedIn is a great way for the algorithm to raise that piece of content up to the very top. But this is where I really like to engage with other people. I like their posts. I like to do lots of commenting. Oftentimes you'll see once you start getting really active on this platform, you may see higher engagement here than with other platforms on here. But this is a really, really great way to do networking with other realtors, especially those who are of the EXP model. You want to do agent attraction. You really, really need to be putting LinkedIn on your radar. Don't run ads on LinkedIn. I've had many people over the years ask me about doing this for them. It's very, very expensive to run ads on LinkedIn. They're really the only thing that works well for LinkedIn ads are like really high-end SaaS products because your cost per clicks and your cost per lead are very, very expensive. The next thing here is the hashtags. No one really uses hashtags on LinkedIn, so I would also leave that out of the equation. But yeah, things like this post here, like with a photo of an image of something, or it doesn't really work. So I really want you to focus your posts on LinkedIn to do with things of your day-to-day jobs, things to do with real estate, things to do with your latest listings. It's where you guys can kind of not follow the rules that I give you on some of the other platforms, but that should also give you some space because you can get away with being less creative on this platform and just being more of a matter of fact, because again, we're here to do more business related stuff. So you can see here, every time we go over something that's really personal, you can see like you're really not getting a ton of engagement. Don't do this. Don't put your TikToks on here. Even though this got a lot, I bet you this guy could have done a lot better if he would have just downloaded it, like I teach you guys, on something like Snaptake or repurpose.io and download without the watermark, because the platforms really, really dislike it because they hate the cool kid and they want their own native stuff. This realtor here, see how she did a new blog post? I bet you if she would have taken the content, just made some slight tweaks to it and made it as a long form article on the native on LinkedIn, it does a lot better. And the same is to be said with other platforms here. When you place links that take people away from the platform, they're going to penalize you because they try to keep people there as long as humanly possible. Trina says, what about sharing a home for sale, such as a one? Yeah. So if there's great listings in your area, what I would just say is like, always try to find your own unique spin on that piece of content or on that listing. That would work really well. You could list some of the reasons why this would be a great purchase or why this might not be a good purchase. Or maybe you want to ruffle some feathers and you want to say what you might have done different as a realtor with this particular listing. So don't be afraid to go a little bit of the polarizing, as long as you're ready to hit some of the backlash of that other realtor. Maybe not liking that you do that, but I like to spice things up. Any other questions about like what to post, things like that? So you can use scheduling tools for this stuff too, guys. Like you don't have to remember to come on here and make a post every day. All of the scheduling tools, all the ones that I've shown you guys in the past, they all include LinkedIn here for you as well. So just to summarize here, if the only thing that you do today is optimize your LinkedIn profile, then you're already ahead of the game than most people. That is going to be key. The other thing here is like, as you go through, you can see here of who's viewed your profile. You can see how often people come over to your profile, what your social score is. I can't remember, they call it something, a social score. When you turn on your LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it actually gives you a score of how well you're being seen within the algorithm, which is pretty cool too. So not a crazy huge class for you today. Your homework for today is to go into your LinkedIn profile. You're going to optimize and create your little tagline here. Okay, so who do you serve, how you serve them, that's where it's going to go there. Remember, it's 120 characters is what you're allowed. The next thing that you want to do here is you want to update your about me, right? This is the summary. This is where we're including our mission statement. This is what, if you have any awards, this is where we highlight if there's a certain niche. This is where we include a link to our Calendly. We include our phone number, have it in here. And then we have featured images. So if you've got some really, really cool listings that you got, maybe you've got anything that builds authority too. So like if you've got images of you accepting an award, or you're on stage, or you're out there kissing babies, that's the kind of stuff that you want to have featured in here. You can also include videos in here too. But you want to highlight some of your best stuff. This is where any activity that you've posted on the platform, this is where all of your activity goes. And again, too, if you're trying to connect with a really big, individual, you can go to their profile and you can see what their dedicated activity is so that you can interact with all of the posts that they've done. Hang out, put in whatever work experience, education, if you have any certifications, and then again, create some endorsing people of other skills and give out some recommendations. So this whole process here really should take you under an hour, especially since I gave you guys the wonderful little template there to get it done. So I got to ask, who here is optimizing their LinkedIn profile?
Janina needs a clone.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work, right?
It is, but it's stuff, it's like, it's building. I want you guys to think of it as like building credit for the future. Okay, you do this stuff once and it stays with you for years. I haven't touched my LinkedIn profile in years. It's been a really long time. Probably could use some love now that this is what I do for a living, as I say that out loud. but I've made a ton of money from LinkedIn, like a ton of money. I've picked up some really, really big clients from that platform, and so should you. And I've made my clients a ton. In fact, agent attraction, like when a client comes to me and they want to do agent attraction, the first place we go to is LinkedIn, because I can go through and I can target certain brokerages. I can target people based off of how long that they've been a realtor for. I can target a certain area. There's all different kinds of things that we can do. And then I build out a series of messages and sequences. One thing that should be said is there are many, many tools out there that allow you to automate the delivery of messages. I've used them all. What I will say is LinkedIn really doesn't like it, and you could very potentially lose your profile. They're very strict about that. Another thing that you need to be mindful of is that if you hire somebody like myself or another individual to work on your LinkedIn profile, if you have more than 4 instances of different locations of people logged into your play within the rules.
Sorry, Kara, can you just repeat that? Because I think that's an important, you just froze there for a second. So just
Yeah,
where you were
so
talking about the 4 connections.
Yeah. So let's say you're using somebody overseas, you've hired a virtual assistant, and you're allowing them to log in and post content for you, or optimize a profile for you, or do some of this messaging for you. You have to be very careful about how many times different locations and different instances of people logging in. So I would recommend that if it's you, like you could very well have your mobile phone, a desktop, an iPad, and maybe another laptop. That's 4 separate locations that you've logged into with that platform. So you have to be very careful and be mindful as to when you give out your passcodes, you let people come in. LinkedIn really, really doesn't like that, because again, they think that you're misusing the platform. And one of the big overarching problems that LinkedIn has had over the years is marketers, because marketers ruin everything, misusing and abusing the platform. So just be careful of it. Janita, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Just send me an email. I got you. You know I got you. So you're good. What other questions? We got 10 minutes left for your LinkedIn questions. And it could be anything else. If you guys have any other questions, now would be the time, because I charge a lot of money for one-on-one time with me, guys, and you have me here both free. So now is the time to ask those questions.
So why don't we, while questions come in, or if any questions do come in here in the next couple of minutes, let's talk about sort of the process of connecting with people, and more specifically, you know, if you are going through Sales Navigator, you're connecting with, you know, high-profile individuals that, or whoever your ideal type of customer. What does the follow-up look like? Because I'm assuming that you're going ahead, you're connecting with, you know, your ideal customer. Are you, you know, if they're accepting your connection request, are you sending them an initial message? What does the follow-up look like? Because I think you know, that's a big part of, because I've used LinkedIn quite a bit in the past, and you know, part of the strategy and the process was connecting with people, obviously posting stuff, connecting with people, sending them a first message, and then following up with them again. What does that look like for a real estate agent that wants to connect with more potential buyers and sellers that fall within their ideal customers?
Yeah, great question there, Shane. So the first things that I would do is I actually wouldn't, so when you create that dedicated feed, that dedicated list of people through a platform like Sales Navigator, remember that I said it gives you a dedicated news feed. So similar to the news feed that we just showed you, that's publicly available when you come into your LinkedIn. When you go to the Sales Navigator, you can have a dedicated newsfeed, and it will display anything that's happening, from the posts that they've made to maybe they got a promotion, maybe they've, you know, if they have a work anniversary coming up, you are given opportunities to like and comment on their individual posts. I would aim to do about 2 to 3 of those actions before you even send. If you have no way to connect, like if you don't have a second or a third connection with them, if you don't share a college education with them, if you don't share anything with them, it's really important that you make that initial connection in another way, because it's a lot easier for them to accept. So the first thing I would do there is interact with the engagement that they're currently posting on the platform. then the first message that you should be sending out there, you need to find a way that you're connecting with that person, and you need to customize it. It's like the old messaging of like, hey, I saw that you're in Toronto. I'm in Toronto. Just thought we should connect, is the quickest way for somebody just to completely ignore what you're doing. And then you go on. You want to try and find a way. So I would go back over to their profile. Maybe there was an article that they shared that you really resonated with. If there is something that you shared, that's where you want to highlight it, but you want to customize that message and send that connection request. You do have in Sales Navigator, they will give you a certain number of free inbox messages, which means that you can send a message to somebody without actually having to be connected. So in order for somebody to receive your messages, you have to be connected, but they will give you a free number of messages. Once we get connected to somebody, you've sent out that initial message and they don't respond, don't be afraid to continue to follow up. But each time that you follow up, you have to remember that you need to do it in a humanizing way, and you need to find more ways in which you have something that you share in common to further their attention. That is my best recommendation when you are trying to connect with those people. And then there's other things that you can have, like, you can have groups on LinkedIn just the same way as you do with Facebook. People don't really use them though. I'd say that it's not really the best use for attracting buyers and sellers. From here, what you want to do is, now that once you've really committed to making connection to the platform, you do want to be posting content, because that, again, that's the best way to stay back out in front of your people. So the content that I'm telling you guys to post out on TikTok, out on Instagram, out on Facebook, find ways just to make it nice and professional, make it a little bit vanilla, and get it out onto your feed, and use one of those scheduling tools that allow you to pre-schedule all that content out. Does that answer your question, Shane?
I asked the question thinking it might help somebody. So, I didn't really have the question because I know what to do. But
I have a question for you.
Yeah, Beverly, go for it.
Okay, so to backtrack a little bit to previous weeks for the repurposing of the content for, I think it was repurpose.io, right? Is that the site?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm having a problem with it recognizing my Instagram. It says that it's not a supported, like I think it said professional or something, and it's a business account.
Yeah, it could be because you're not on a business account, so you might need to switch it from personal to business. Oh, you are business.
Yeah, I checked that.
Okay.
And I am business.
Okay.
And
have
so
you
I'm kind of
reached out to their support?
No.
Okay.
Would that do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I would reach out to support. Sometimes they need to like redo, like there's like these keys that Instagram puts out to all these platforms that makes the connecting. Sometimes that key needs to be reissued from your Instagram over to repurpose.io. So just reach out to their support and see if they can help you there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Shane, that was a good question. I did get a takeaway from that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Kara, why don't we go? I know you've got a hard stop here in a couple of minutes, so let's doesn't look like there's any more questions. Let's go ahead and wrap this up here. So again, Kara, thank you so much for jumping on, teaching us a little bit about
You're
LinkedIn.
welcome.
What are we talking about next week?
I thought it'd be good to just dive a little bit into YouTube now. So we're gonna keep going with some more foundations, and YouTube's gonna take us a couple of classes to get through. But I mean, Shane, your lady just slays it on the YouTube platform. She just pulls in leads every day. So we want you guys to get every day. So we're gonna give you guys a little bit of the scoop.
So
Yeah,
it's going well. Yeah, we might be able to get her on this call. She's pretty fluent in the YouTube side of things. So if people are interested, we could get her on here. So, all right. Well, everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in to the Thursday call. Hopefully this was this added some value to your business. Remember, we do have a call on Tuesdays with Brad. Actually, the call coming up is our Q&A call this coming Tuesday. Then we're doing the webinars again next Tuesday. So make sure to check that out. And if there's anything else, you know where to reach us. Both of us are on Facebook. Feel free to reach out to Kara directly or myself. And replays of this are posted in the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. So if you want to go back to this call. And with that, everybody, have an amazing day. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you next Thursday. Kara, thank you so much.
Catch you on the flip side.
All right. Take care.